One of the things I like most about being a commercial fisherman is the seasonality of the work. Rather than following an arbitrary calendar, my life follows the waxing and waning of the moon, the changing of tides, and the changing of seasons. Every spring, my wife and I head north and west to the outer coast of Southeast Alaska to chase sablefish. Sablefish, also known as black cod, are one of my personal favorite fish to eat because their meat is really oily and rich in omega-3 fatty acids, which is good for your health. They're delicious, they're easy to cook. It's really hard to mess them up when you are baking or grilling them. And they go really well with miso, which is a flavor I really like. Here we are at our first anchorage. It's a short travel day and we haven't made it very far. I'm setting the anchor by having my wife back down in reverse as I let the anchor loose. This will help the anchor dig into the seafloor and ensure that we don't drift overnight. This is a rough sketch of Southeast Alaska. We kind of divide Southeast Alaska into two parts. The inside passage, which is protected by all these islands, and the outside. This is where you're more exposed to large ocean waves and just generally worse weather. You can follow this inside passage all the way down through Canada to Seattle. Hey guys! We're halfway through our migration from the town we live in out to the open ocean to fish for black cod, which are also known as sablefish. It's been a good cruise so far. We had some mechanical issues right before we left, but we seem to have gotten those fixed up. Knock on wood. Everything seems to be running nicely. And we're gonna go anchor up here and enjoy some hot springs and do a little hike, because when you're in Southeast Alaska you really got to enjoy the scenery. We had ourselves a nice soak as soon as we got in. And now my legs feel like jelly after getting all relaxed in the hot water. Blessing and the curse of summer in Alaska is the insane amount of daylight we get. It's nice because there's tons of work hours, there's not a lot of darkness, you can anchor up as late as you want, get going as early as you want. The downside of it is, if you have a long day ahead of you, you pretty much feel like you got to get up at like 3:30. After 2 days of travel, we've reached the seafood processor, and to start our trip, we'll be loading up the boat with ice to keep our fish nice and fresh, and bait to help attract the fish into the pots. Now we're iced and baited, and we're gonna head over to the fuel dock to top off before heading for the outside coast. Sloppy weather, we decide to hold off on setting our gear for another day. So instead we're going to anchor up and wait for the morning. So we're anchored up in this beautiful cove. We're chopping up bait and getting ready to set our pots, set our gear tomorrow. Just kind of enjoying an afternoon in such a beautiful place like this. We've got a buddy anchored up nearby. He's going to be fishing too. It's always nice to have a friend nearby in case something goes wrong. You can have assistance. Before leaving town, we stop at the fish processor and we fill up the hold with ice and we get bait, which for this trip we're using pink salmon, herring, which I've already chopped up, and squid, which we chop up. I like to give them a smorgasbord. That way, no matter what they feel like eating, they'll be attracted to our pots. Bait's kind of expensive, and it's a big part of the cost of making a commercial fishing trip. And it's really tempting to skimp on the bait, because this is like, you don't want to spend more than you have to. But every time I skimp on bait, I end up having such lower catch rates that it actually ends up costing more. I try and get a mix of a little bit of everything in each pot. I'm going to make sure the bait is all finely chopped up so that it releases scent more quickly and attracts the fish better. This is our first trip of the year, and it's really nice to be back out on the outside coast. On one hand, it's kind of stressful because you're exposed to the open ocean and there's less traffic, so less people to help out if you get into trouble. But the outer coast of Southwest Alaska is much more wild and filled with brown bears and whales and really cool things in the inside, I think, just because there's less people visiting all the time. Really retains the feel of old Alaska. We carefully remove the plastic so none ends up in the water, because microplastics are a big problem for aquatic life, and a lot of our oceans are getting polluted with them, and we don't need to be contributing to that issue, since the ocean is providing us with food and jobs. Well, I'm all baited up. Got the bait bags down on the hold on ice to keep them nice and fresh, because even fish like fresh fish. And so we're just gonna wait for the weather to get nicer. Hopefully it'll be nicer in the morning. It's a little breezy and the seas are still kind of big from a little bit of a blow we had. But hopefully in the morning we'll be able to charge out and chase some cod around. So I'm gonna head into the nice heated cabin, keep a pair of binoculars handy in case we get to see any wildlife, and make myself a cup of coffee and have a snack. To fish blackcod, we'll actually have to run about 15 miles offshore to get out where the ocean is deep enough to support large concentrations of this species. Fish blackcod using a long line set, which is basically a rope run along the bottom of the ocean with these little pots branching off. On each set we'll have anywhere from 30 to 50 of these little pots, and at each end the rope is anchored to the seafloor and it runs up to a buoy line, which allows us to retrieve our pots after we set our gear. And it's buoyed at both ends so that if the line snags on a rock or something on the bottom and breaks, we can still retrieve our gear and avoid both losing money and polluting the seafloor. Blackcod are a pretty deep water fish, and we fish anywhere typically from 1,200 to 2,400 feet deep. To set our gear, we start first by throwing our buoys and a flagpole marker overboard, and then running out approximately 1,800 feet of line before attaching it to an anchor. The next step is to set our pots on the main line, which runs along the bottom of the ocean. Periodically, we attach these pots spaced out maybe every 150 feet or so to give them room to fish and so that they don't get tangled up with each other. Finally, we drop the second anchor and then let out line until it ends at the buoy so that the line is buoyed off at both ends for easy retrieval. What's really cool about this pot gear, which is relatively recent for Southeast Alaska, is that it's both highly selective for black cod and doesn't present a danger to seabirds in the way that traditional hook and line gear can, which, as a bird lover, I really appreciate. Now that we've set our gear, we're going to head into the anchorage where we're going to play around a little bit and enjoy the scenery and rest up. After we set our gear, we like to give it overnight to soak and to catch more fish. Some guys will stay out on the ocean and haul their gear more frequently than us, but as just a small two-man crew, we like to take it easy and not wear ourselves out too much. Friend coming into the harbor. It's always nice to have a friend around, both for safety's sake and for someone to commiserate with, as commercial fishing in Alaska is often difficult and frustrating. It's also nice to have a friend when something cool happens. You can talk about all the great whales or whatever you saw. We got our little raft down from the roof of the boat, and now we're going to paddle around, see what we can see, and then we're going to come back and chop up bait and get ready for tomorrow. We've already grappled the buoys and hauled in most of the buoy line. There was some kelp tangled on the buoy, so I didn't get a good video of us grappling them. fishing black cod with these slinky pots, which are a really cool collapsible pot that have really come into common usage in the last, 5 or 6 years in South Central Alaska. And it's really a neat type of fishing because it's highly selective for cod and it doesn't have much bycatch. And additionally, it deters whales, specifically sperm whales, from eating the catch as you haul it up, which results in less mortality on the resource and less negative whale interactions, which is always a good thing. String of gear. Now we're gonna ice all these tasty fish and motor over to our other. Got our fish for the day, and now we're gonna head in and sell them tomorrow. While we wait for an appointment at the processor to offload, we decided to go on a little hike behind town, where we got these great views. With the fish sold and all the paperwork filled out, We're going to take an evening off, and then we're going to head out tomorrow for another trip. See you guys next time.